Tonight, an exclusive sit-down with U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg during the secretary's first year on the job. Congress passing a bipartisan infrastructure law that includes the single biggest dedicated bridge investment since the construction of the interstate highway system. I spoke with Secretary Buttigieg today about a variety of topics as he begins year 2 in the Biden administration. I have to begin, first off, by wishing you a happy birthday. I know you tweeted about this year being a big one. I, too, turned 40 this summer. So you're already on the other side. How does it feel so far?
The view from here is pretty good. I had a lively 30s, and I'm excited for what the 40s may bring. But thanks for the kind wish. People have been great.
We do want to talk about infrastructure, particularly roads and bridges and highways. But I do want to begin with the rollout of the 5G technology near airports. And you asked wireless carriers AT&T and Verizon to push back the rollout around some of the airports in this country. They agreed, but they also sent a pretty terse statement saying we're frustrated by the FAA's inability to do what nearly 40 countries have done, which is safely deploy 5G technology. Do you agree with their assessment that the FAA wasn't fully prepared for the 5G rollout near these airports?
The FAA's bottom line has to be safety, and obviously even one catastrophic accident out of a million is unacceptable. So as you can imagine, there is a lot of complex analysis and a lot of rigor that goes into this. This has been a subject of a lot of discussion for quite a while, and in particular, I appreciate the wireless carriers being willing to work with us to help get the kind of data that's going to be needed so that these two technologies can coexist safely. And I'm convinced that they can.
How long will this assessment period last?
Even overnight, FAA was able to generate a lot of analyses that allow more aircraft to operate without as many restrictions, and they're going to continue that work until we have a complete level of confidence that the 5G deployment and all flight operations are going to be safe side by side, whatever that takes.
I want to move to the infrastructure bill and the roads and highways and bridges. New York receiving $1.8 billion, New Jersey $1.1 billion. When can people here begin to see the impacts of this new plan?
I want to be clear that this is not just about a seasonal project or getting through this year. We're talking about generational investments, the kinds of investments that built the transportation infrastructure that New York, New Jersey count on in the first place. When you look at some of these bridges, you look at some of these tunnels, a lot of them represent the absolute state-of-the-art construction technology from about 100 years ago. And we now need to be making decisions that are going to make sense for the next 100 years and build accordingly. About
80% of the money goes to the bridges and the roads. But there are some transportation officials out there who are calling for more of the money to be funneled into climate change and to address the issues of climate change. We've seen it here in the past year where you have a rainstorm and people are stranded on major thoroughfares here in the tri-state, particularly the Cross Bronx Expressway, so much so that people are having to be rescued from their roofs.
It's really two sets of things we got to do. We got to do our part to prevent climate change from getting any worse, and we've got to respond to the climate change that's already happening. So the first part, that's why the transit investment is so important. It means fewer car trips are necessary. It's why we're pushing so hard to make electric vehicles available and affordable for Americans. Part two is we got to deal with climate impacts that are already upon us right now. And we've seen that with Ida, with Sandy, with so much more happening certainly to the New York area. That's why there is dedicated funding in this bill for resilience, things like evacuation routes and recognizing that, if, for example, a road is getting washed out every single year because of rising sea level, maybe we don't fix it back the way it was, the same every single year. Maybe it's got to go somewhere else or be redesigned.
What can we learn out of the bipartisan agreement on infrastructure that hopefully we can take forward when we're tackling some of these other major issues in this country?
The bridges that we're literally building also represent a metaphorical bridge that we really need in this country. It was extraordinary to see, and I was there on the South Lawn of the White House with the president and Republicans who were crossing over to join Democrats in voting for this infrastructure package because it was the right thing to do.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since President Biden took office. What letter grade would you give the Biden administration on the economy during President Biden's first year?
Well, look, in historical terms, the current president has no peer in the number of jobs created in his first year. And that isn't something that just happened automatically. There was a big push and a big struggle to get the American Rescue Plan through. Thanks to that American Rescue Plan, we went from the economy teetering and worrying about how many years it would take to get below 4% unemployment, to being below 4% unemployment right now as I speak to you. Now, we still got a lot of issues. We got pressure on prices. We got inflation that we're watching closely. And by the way, that the president has put forward proposals on what to do about it. There are a lot more steps to take, especially as long as this pandemic is dealing body blows to our supply chains and to the economy as we know it.
Letter grade?
What do you give the best job creation ever? I don't know how many pluses you put next to the A that goes with a historic record for job creation. In other areas, we got to keep pushing because the work will not be complete until we have put all of the effects of this pandemic behind us.
I know you recently became a new father. Congratulations. I'm a father of 3 young kids, so I totally understand the time frame you're in right now and the sleepless nights and all of that. What have you learned about yourself since becoming a new father?
I think the most extraordinary thing is how quickly you adapt to things. As a general rule, I did not appreciate being woken up at 3 in the morning before on those rare occasions it happened. Now it's kind of a daily event, and it is what it is. Getting spit up on doesn't even gross me out anymore when it's your kid. And I guess that's just how it works. Some circuits get activated in you that you didn't know were there. When you become a parent. And, like every parent, Jess and I are overwhelmed and very much in love and very much just trying to take it day by day. We wish you well, both in your day job and new fatherhood as well. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for the time.